video today, and what we're going to do is going to go through some of the basic features of a Technics deck, or basically the same features you'll find on pretty much every single turntable. The Technics are the basic brand that you'll get. They're industry standard. A lot of people are still using them. Still an old workhorse, and so really quite well built. Right, let's start. Basically, this one is your 7-inch adapter. It's a polo mint, effectively. If you were one of those sort of people who likes playing old soul records, etc., I'm sure there's not very many of you. Sorry if I've offended anyone. This, if you have a 7-inch vinyl, you basically put it underneath here and put this on top of it. That's quite simple. Other features are, your next one is this. This, it might just look like a light, but in actual fact it's a stroboscope. And these little dots here are what people use. Well, some DJs, you might find a lot of them. Really technical, quite scientific DJs might use this. Most DJs will just use their ears. Basically, how fast these little dots go is in relation to what speed the deck's going at. As you can see, you've got your little deck here. It's a percentage of how much extra or how much less speed you've got on it. So if I put it up to 45, you can see the dots that you have, which look like they're standing still, are the ones which are indicating what speed is at. So in this case, it's the ones in the middle row. The ones that are moving, you can ignore those. Anyway, we'll leave that spinning a little bit now. So here we go, start stop button. We've got one of these. Beautiful, quite simple. 33, 45 RPM, these are your speeds. Generally, most of the time you're going to be on 45. This is a bit of a throwback from the old days. You do generally get some records, but they're quite old. You might play on 33. If you're the sort of person that plays quite fast stuff, then generally you're going to be the sort of person that's playing definitely on 45. And as you can see over here, we'll jump quickly to the pitch control. Pitch control is basically the pitch of your record. This is another speed thing as well, really. This will enable you to mix in a certain way. Some people actually mix rather than touching the turntable. They'll use their pitch adjustment. That's something we'll go into in a later video. Next one that we have, this one's called the target light. The target light basically shows where your needle is on a record. So that's where your needle sits. The reason why you have a target light is because if you're mixing on vinyl, we don't have a vinyl here to show you, but you have to see breaks on a vinyl. And the only way to see this in the darkened club is with our little light here. So, there you go. Right, next one that we're going on to, you've already seen our pitch control. This one is your tone arm. Right, so we'll start from the top of the tone arm. Usually you can have an extra little weight on the end of your tone arm here. We don't have one on here because we don't actually need it. This is your balance weight, which can be adjusted to put more or less weight down onto the needle. So as you can see, I'll put some there, and it's actually making the turntable tone arm go further down. If I release that a little bit, as you can see, there's a bit less weight on it. As you can see, it doesn't fall all the way down now because it's sort of hanging. We won't go into all the complex features of the tone arm because you're never going to need to repair one. If you do know how to repair one, then fair play to you. This is your anti-skating control. What an anti-skating control does, you turn it up or down, it stops your needle jumping across the deck, usually. If you put it up, then basically it will stop. If, say, you put the needle there, there's less chance of you knocking it and going boing, 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 boing across your record and make you look pleb. The ones we have here, this is your height adjustment on your tone arm. If you turn this, then if you look very carefully, we're going down here, and you can go back up. Now this depends on how you want your tone arm set up. Some people actually set the tone arm up like this. You put it all the way up to the top, and they have the balance weight, so it's hanging down quite a lot. You do get this sometimes with scratch DJs. It all depends on your preference. Basically, you set your needle up and your tone arm to track the way that you want it to, and you put as much weight on as you want it to. Sometimes it's a matter of preference. Totally up to you. The next one that we have here, we have our little lever. If you watch here, if you see this tiny little piece of plastic now, beautiful little thing. I'm sure somebody spent many hours in Japan designing this. They must have had loads of fun. Not. Another thing I hardly ever use. If I put this lever up here, you can see it lifts up the tone arm. So if you if you want to be quite accurate, if you put this up or down, it will basically put it up or down onto the record. As you can see, moving up and down very slightly. I wouldn't really bother with this, to be honest. You can do it if you want to, but if you're going to be mixing a record, you can. If you haven't got the one mixer channel on, you can just get it and just dump it on the record. It's totally up to you. The next thing we want to basically go down the tone arc. We have this little screw fitting here. This is a thing which basically tightens up and untightens to remove or put in your cartridge. This cartridge that you're using here, as you can see, it's got 4 points here. You don't need to worry a lot about these, it's a bit of an electrical thing, but basically these 4 points join up with these 4 points here, make a connection. This particular type of cartridge, you can see just putting it back on there, quite simple, easy to put in. This is called a Concord cartridge. As you can tell as well, they've got quite a long sort of nose to them. A lot of people favour these cartridges. Now, it doesn't really matter if you have a Concord cartridge or if, for example, you have one of these cartridges. This is a head shell mounted one. Head shell mounted ones are a little bit more of a pain, because what you do with them is basically you have to get all these little wires here attached to all the right places. Now, I mean, that's fairly self-explanatory. Like red goes to red, white goes to white, green goes to green, blah blah, so on. They're a bit fiddly. Basically, this is what we call the actual cartridge body. That's the actual cart. We don't have the stylus on here now, but basically the stylus will slot into this part of the cartridge. We can show you that in a later video, how to put that in, even though I would have said it was fairly obvious. This is mounted using these little screws here, as you can see. This little part here, it slots into these plastic parts here, you tighten up the screws, and the cartridge is in. And that's about it.